It is interesting to see just how much IG are giving Fada those respect bans, though.
Yeah, I think you could still easily justify a first pick sniper, though, if that's the way you want to go. But
oh, it will be the Phoenix. Good call. What do IG want here?
Sniper. They want sniper.
Or do they want to go for like the comfort zone Ferrari Shadow Fiend? If they pick the sniper, I feel they don't get the Shadow Fiend, which, I mean, they lost with sniper against Phoenix. I wonder how much that's going to get in their head. And they say, look, sniper's a good pick. Coming into this tournament, yes, we would have picked sniper here, but maybe with how the series and how this tournament's gone, you pick the Shadow Fiend.
I think they're going to grab the Lion as their second pick. That's going to be my guess. But which one they get first?
If it,
It's difficult.
So do you...
Shadow Fiend Earthshaker is the other option. I think Earthshaker or Lion are both very good. If they get the Earthshaker, we need to see a kind of aggressive support to go with her, at least a support with good presence in the lane.
How about the Chen? It's something that they occasionally pick together with Shadow Fiend. It's a Chuan classic.
I don't think
it's a nice deny pick, but so is Lion.
Yeah, I don't think you want Chen in the first two, per se.
IG taking their time here. And they will go Lion.
It's a good hero here. I don't think Cloud9 will use extra time here. I think they're going to grab the sniper for me. They might have second thoughts because they did lose the last game with this exact combination, Phoenix and Sniper, but I still think Sniper has a really good matchup against Shadow Fiend. It's actually super annoying playing SF against it. A hero that's very... Yes, you've got the races as your primary damage source early on, but come mid-game, Shadow Fiend wants to be a little bit mobile and get in and get some attacks off. Sniper always outranges him, never really gets threatened by the Shadow Fiend.
Whereas the Sniper has pretty big kill potential once you get the level 6 with the 3 shrapnel charges. IG are taking their...
The other option is the Batrider. Well, I don't think if they get Batrider, it already puts Phoenix into the support role and maybe reveals a bit too much, or... No, they're going back.
All right.
Team Fire.
Well, IG will at least have some opportunity to try and react to this Batrider pick.
It's actually Team Fire versus Team Hell right now.
Team Evil. Are you saying IG's the bad guys?
Now, you guys were mentioning picking up a clear counter to the Batrider. Is this where IG want to be eyeing off something like a Vengeful Spirit or some kind of a actual counter to initiate?
Disruptor. We used to see Nyx a lot. He's been banned a couple of times this tournament, though. It seems more to protect squishy, high damage heroes like Zeus.
The other hero so far ignored has been the Wisp, which Cloud9 did not pick up in their opening two.
Also can be a potential counter to the Lasso, something Pylai Dai was doing a lot of back when he was on Cloud9. Not really an IG hero, though.
I don't think Cloud9 want the Wisp with Phoenix as their support duo, though.
Yeah, so that would have to be... I mean, can they run the Fada Batrider and the Phoenix in the offlane? They want to mix it up?
May just see Wisp get ignored this game, but...
If they want to go a little bit unorthodox here, which the only reason I'm considering this is because it's IG, they still have Kunkka available. Not the best roaming partner with Lion. He's better together with Shadow Demon. We saw them running it together. But actually, when it comes to countering out the Phoenix, there were some really nice places by Faith in that game. X marks the spot is a great counter to Icarus Dive. Kind of the same logic as Last Word, where you cast the dive, but you know you're ultimately still going to go back where you started. Ghost Ship is a decent counter to Batrider until the Force Staff. So it's like a little timing window where Batrider can blink Lasso. You just instantly ship when he pulls someone
Without
in.
a setup, though, I mean, Lion to me is not really a good set for Kunkka. They only picked it with the Shadow Demon.
That's why I'm saying it's unorthodox. It might be something they're considering, but I do not think it's the pick. But if all their other options get removed, we see the Venge removed now, I think might be what they end up with.
I think they just want to go super vanilla and get like a Jug Axe. Jug Axe. Like, get Luo's Axe. You need an initiate at this point with Ferrari on Shadow Fiend. Get like a Jug for Burning, which has been probably one of his most played heroes. Yeah. Look, IG are going to go for what's worked leading up to this tournament, and I think it's going to be the Axe 4th pick. It just seems IG playing it super safe with this draft.
Surprisingly, they banned Lycan.
The Sleeve Sniper's still out there, but at the same time, Lion Jug are pretty decent against Sniper if you're just able to close the gap.
Especially since Lycan is not the most dominant laning hero. Like, that's almost a hero, like, if you were planning on picking an Axe, you're happy to have Axe against Lycan.
All right, as for Cloud9, other big Envy heroes, the Phantom Lancer, the Naga, they're out there. They don't have the Zeus, which really ties the Naga strat together nicely, though.
5 seconds remaining.
And there's that Sniper possibility, but if they want it...
Do you get Magnus plus an Envy carry, like a Magnus PA here? Because Magnus is probably Fata's best hero, or like most played hero left still in the pool.
Along with Puck, I guess.
Yeah.
Not really seen much play in this version.
TA has a really good matchup against SF, though, so it's... It's
I mean,
still a possibility.
It feels like they're just losing games with TA every time they go for it.
How
Because
about,
like,
how about Morphling for Cloud9?
Did they ever play that?
Envy used to play it a lot.
Yeah.
Not so he hasn't played in a while.
Oh
though.
yeah, he did, but I haven't seen it for weeks. I think from that team.
Yeah, probably longer than that even. A couple of months at least.
it does always
AA
come to
from
mind when they take the AA or deny it from IG.
So it's
That's
like
denied-
a classic
that's a denied
trio.
pick,
The,
100%
the
denied
Bat AA Morphling.
It's one of Misery's good heroes, and getting that away from Faith now might force him into. So what options do we have for Faith actually? The Venge is out. There's the Silencer that he played earlier without much success that is available. The
Chen is still
Kunkka
possible
I
if they
mentioned.
really
Chen
want Chen.
could be pulled out and they can play Faith on Lion.
I still
Lean
like
is
the
a
axe.
possibility if they want like some more burst damage coming out. But
I still really like the axe here for IG. They don't have that great initiator. They definitely still need it. Clockwork's also in the pool if you want to go a bit different.
Axe gets run over in lane by AA.
Can walk off to the jungle. It's IG who take the Morphling. Feels like
There's
it may be a
Lewis.
bit of a block pick as well, but it's going to be
Interesting.
a different style of Morphling. I
Yeah.
think this should be the offlane Morphling.
Yep.
unless they want to do like a Vici gaming style offlane jug, but I think I've seen Luo play the offlane Morphling before, and
So that means Cloud9 probably going to ban the Skywrath, I would say, is the last hero here. They don't really
Oh
have...
yeah, Skywrath is there too. That's true.
The Lion is the only real great follow-up for the...
Shadowfiend's
Morphling
solid
style.
as well, I
That's
think.
true. He's decent.
You know who's also good with Morphling stun? Kunkka.
Kunkka. Yeah.
5 seconds.
There you go.
remaining.
That's actually a really good setup, to be honest.
It's a good counter.
It's
It's like
what we have-
if back goes in with the blink lasso, just throw the boat out and then get the Coco's rum and all that.
All right.
Yeah, there's
Well,
your factor
you're
here.
getting
Time
all
for
the
IG
calls
to ban a
right, guys.
melee carry.
The jug.
Actually-
I wasn't right about the axe, but
You've
jug,
called almost
the
everything
The
right,
Magnus.
You called the first pick Phoenix, you called the Shadow Fiend.
The
We said
Bat
Lion
Rider.
or Shaker, so you get half a point for that. You called Bat Rider, you called Mag.
the Jug.
You called Jug.
There you go.
That's really good.
Didn't call
maybe
the
I'm
like him,
justifying myself here as
He actually
as an
speaks
analyst.
Chinese, and he's got a direct line to IG right now.
yeah.
You get the draft bingo.
Stop, Sind. You're blowing up his ego.
Yeah, it's
He's going to be
shucks.
insufferable when we go back.
So I mean, PA is the obvious pick to go with the Magnus. Do you think PA's good here? I mean, Omni Slash kind of bypasses the evasion and all that, but you're like, who are you empowering is always the big question.
Yeah, PL is the ban here.
10 seconds remaining.
I always like the problem here for PA is until she gets BKB, she actually can't fight at all. Like you can't initiate into a Lion Hex, you can't initiate into a Morphling with the stun. The burst spell damage on IG is actually overwhelming until you have that magic immunity. So I would think if Cloud9 do it, they put themselves in a little bit more of a passive position as far as the early game goes. But might go for that. All right, that's one hero we didn't consider at all actually. More classic pick for Vici Gaming than for IG, but
Oh man, this.
I feel like we see it too little in general. Sand King is such a good hero, I think.
if he gets space early, I feel like this IG mid game just looks so hard to deal with. You've got Lion, Sand King, Morphling, all great initiators. A lot of follow-up damage from the Jug Shadow Fiend. But they do need a lot of levels on this team. It's a pretty resource-hungry bunch.
10 seconds.
I'm thinking
remaining.
Spectre. That's my call. See if I can.
5
Mask of
seconds
Madness Spectre.
I don't know about Mask of Madness, but doesn't. I don't think it's like a great empower target, but I think it just fits this like global gank. And nope,
Close.
Terrorblade. There we go.
Still an impressive series of calls.
This is a really hit or miss Terrorblade game. He's either going to get free farm and own, or he's just going to get completely shut down. Like, I'm talking like 0-7 or something like that. They pick Terrorblade into Lion, Sand King, Shadow Fiend. Whew.
All right, guys.
That's some confidence.
This is our deciding game 3. Who is going to be facing Vici Gaming in the grand finals, and who's finishing third? Floor
I
is
think
yours.
IG have the more standard safe draft, but I feel Cloud9 every game they're dominating the early to mid game. They've got Phoenix again. Despite IG being safe and having an easier to execute draft, I think Cloud9 are going to take it.
This time it's an AA support though instead of Disruptor. I think they have less catch until Bat Rider comes online. So if Bat Rider with Bone 7 gets shut down a little bit here, it's going to take Cloud9 longer. Like their early game is actually fairly weak until Bat Rider gets blink in terms of finding kills. So
Or the Magnus blink, but
yeah,
again,
but
that's one really.
either
really
way,
fast
we're looking at 10 minutes plus before Cloud9's lineup really comes online. So maybe IG get the levels they need on Sand King. I'm going to favor IG again. I think I favored them all 3 games from the draft, but Cloud9 keep impressing, so I'm not as confident as I would have been going into the series. But IG.
The last time I saw Cloud9 play Magnus and Bat for Bone 7 and Fada, they both had blinks around the 10-minute mark, so I don't know. I feel like they're playing their A game, and I think they're going to get their blinks early and take the series. So with that, we'll see what our casters have to say. Zyra and Purge, take it away.
All right, our final match of this best-of-3 series. It all comes down to this, Purge. A lot on the line. What are you thinking about these drafts? The first Terrorblade of the tournament.
Yeah, I'm a little scared for C9 here. I feel like I really like the banning path that IG took rather than maybe going for the ban the best hero in every category. They're like, we're going to ban all of Fata's mid-heroes until he picks a mid-hero. And then when he had a mid-hero, they're like, all right, and then we're just going to ban all the best carries. They just target banned EE and Fata there. And I feel like the scary thing about carries right now is that the best ones are Jug, Troll, and Sniper. And if you don't have one of those, we saw a couple games where they'd have a non-typical carry against one of those guys, and it was just a really uphill battle. So I'm really worried for Terrorblade. And to make things worse, he's against a Lion who can one-shot his illusions using Mana Drain or Hex. So going even in the late game, they're going to have an option to stop the sieging. Plus, they have tons of AoE. They've got Sand King, they've got Lion Impale, they've got Shadow Fiend. Morphling's going to have a really long duration stun, which is going to hurt his Sunder. It's just...
And then plus the burst damage from the finger to make Sunder a lot more difficult to utilize.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
they
a good
have
point as well.
a lot of tools to really put pressure on this Terrorblade.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think about Terrorblade in general right now, not even just in the context of this game? Is he underpowered, overpowered? He doesn't seem to be getting a lot of love in the competitive scene right now.
Luckily, I played him a week or two ago for the first time in forever, so I feel like he's still decent. I played him against the Juggernaut, and the Juggernaut that I played against had a lot more farm than me, so Omni Slash was still a really big issue. Even with a Manta style and spawning Conjure Image, it can still get really scary because if Jug does have a gold advantage, he's still going to cleave through you and have a good shot at killing you before you get the Sunder off. So it's tough as a Terrorblade, but you can still farm extremely fast with a Quelling Blade. You send your illusions in the lane the last hit, you go to jungle, then you're pretty safe. Right. As long as IG is not being too aggressive, then you'll be safe. But I expect IG to be aggressive. If he doesn't get a lot of advantage on Terrorblade, I think this is going to be a really tough game. So it's looking scary. Their team fight in the mid game is good, and he does also have Empower. That's another thing to remember. But once he goes into range for him, Empower doesn't cleave, so it gets a little worse. So a couple pings by E. He thinks the ward is in this position. They should be able to deward it. Do they have Sentry money? And yes, Sentries are flying out. E predicted the spot, so he knows at the maximum limit. He's making this casting so easy for me. He's like, I think at maximum the ward is in this area. So they should probably place a Sentry somewhere in a box like this and most likely find the Observer ward.
All right, and the off-lane Morphling, something else we haven't really seen too much this tournament, though it's been the talk of the town over the past month or so with those big adaptive strikes, how long that stun can be, and it's pretty potent. A little surprised we haven't seen more of it this tournament, actually.
Yeah, I would call it obnoxious more than anything else. It's good, but it's also very obnoxious. They're going to be going for the bot rune here. It basically stuns for up to 4.25 seconds on a 10-second cooldown, so a lot of cores are just going to have trouble with it.
Huge uptime there. Icarus dive in, not quite going to be there. 430 will get the bottom bounty, and top will go to Fata. So an even exchange there in terms of the initial runes. Chuan will help block the mid lane, and Misery will do the same here on the Dire side. Nothing too surprising about this lane setup, though. Everything about as you would expect.
This is a boots game, man. We have 5 out of 10 boots
for
this Dota game. Isn't that amazing? That has got to be the highest percentage I've ever seen.
Interesting to see Burning go boots first here.
It's good on Jug.
I think I said yesterday, he does it occasionally. It's sort of 50-50. Not an every game kind of a deal, but when they think there's a chance where maybe a first blood can come out, they'll definitely go for it.
I think the reason they did it is because they have a slightly weaker second support on Sand King against a Bat Rider. So by grabbing boots, it allows them to potentially get a kill on Bat by just using Lion and Jug. It gives a lot more threat than you normally get, because if a Bat Rider has a little bit of free space here, he can just get a lot of advantage. Oh, look at what Morphling did. This is so smart.
Yeah,
he bought boots first, didn't buy any tangos, and he waveformed into the trees. They ping actually. They think they know where he is.
They know he's got to be in this general area. I mean, there's only so many spots you can hide.
This is how they find him.
To still get XP.
Every 5 seconds, your one piece goes. And they can look at his levels to say he's level 2. Okay, he's definitely getting experience. Go find him. He doesn't have, or he does have waveform mana now. I was going to say they could catch him without mana and kill him maybe.
Yeah. Things going okay for Luo so far. Let's check in on to Bone 7 in the off lane for the Dire. Still only level 1, trying to leech some XP, but not really having an easy time either. And then in the mid lane, Magnus versus Shadow Fiend seems to be fairly even so far. Both Ferrari and Fata getting some decent CS.
So Faith fulfilling a pull here. And like you said, Barretter's still not 2 yet. I thought Big Daddy was going to shift over and take a look for the Morphling, but they haven't found him yet, and this is really good for him. Another Quelling is used. They still have not found him. He knows exactly where they are, and he's ready to waveform and TP. Well, he doesn't have the mana for TP, actually, so it's a little scary. But
yeah, and this is one of the great things about the off-lane Morphling is that you don't really need items. Once you get your Soul Ring, your Tranquils, you just need level 7, and then you have all the mana you need for your adaptive strikes. Bottom bounty will get picked up by Faith as Bone 7 tries to snag it for himself.
He's going to get spotted. There it is. They see him.
Yep, Icarus dive across. Luo. How does he
TP.
handle this? He'll just try to TP home. Will he make it? It'll be a bit close, but he survives. Heads up play. Good reaction.
That was a lot of damage, but he TP'd a little bit too early. He actually looked a little AFK, didn't he?
Yeah,
Like
he
dive
did.
came through. He's like, I'm not here. Don't look at me.
I'm sure he was tabbed out checking Facebook.
Yeah, he's almost level 3. That was actually a little bit not as amazing as I thought it was. I thought he was going to get level 3, level 4, but almost hitting 3. Not bad, though, considering he didn't have to use any regen for that. All he lost was a TP scroll. That's a really good trade for him. On the other side, the supports have been able to do exactly whatever they want, and with as much secretiveness
He's still
as they
finding
wanted.
a better offlane experience than Bone 7, who's still only level 1 and now roaming about in some different locations rather than trying to leech in the bottom lane. Respecting the boots first on burning, especially with Lion off the map, could be anywhere. So
it's kind of cool how he used his ward here. He didn't place it in the offlane to protect himself. Instead, he's like, you know what? I'm going to position it where it's going to help out the game. And he's going to put it behind that. He's going for the courier. Can they upgrade fast enough? It's going to be close. He's going to need 3 hits, though. There's the upgrade.
Oh, wow. Very close call there. I thought he was going to get it. Would have been a huge pick to stop the bottle from 430. A noble effort.
Yeah.
And the aggressive ward could still come in handy later on and maybe help them find a kill in the mid lane. Luo rotating through the jungle, heads back to the river. Big Daddy knocks off the clarity and pushes him back.
Yeah, Batrider's not exactly a good career sniper because he only does 40 damage on average. He's one of the worst base damage heroes in the game, and a regular courier has like, what, 75 or something like that?
I think he can still two-shot the regular courier.
It was close.
Yeah.
Definitely close.
But once it gets upgraded, yeah, there's no way.
So the gank begins. A little bit of smoke. I kind of like how they're integrating Morphling into this a bit. He's actually a really good ganker at level 1. 100 damage for waveform plus an attack.
Fata, level 5, will get Hex to have things started. Faith should be able to follow up with a stun. There's Luo. Fata will not live. It's 430 that draws the first blood. Shadow Fiend, a prize target to get that bonus gold and, of course, max out your Necromastery.
So the gank happens. No Tail's going to grab some experience on the mid lane, but a bad start for Fata here. He still has a lot of last hits, though. 18, very good for considering he's against a ranged hero. Fata notoriously just amazing at getting last hits in even heroes that are melee. He does a great job for him in the mid lane.
Both Burning and Envy getting good farm in the safe lane. Very comparable CS. Phase Boots the first item of choice on the Jug. And what's Envy working on here? Just Brown Boots, Ring of Basilius, pulling up his gold for now. What do you think in terms of item builds here for the Terrorblade? What's ideal in this kind of a game?
Usually you go agility stuff. There's a chance to go for a Radiance build, but I don't expect to see that at all. It's most likely to be Manta and things like that. Manta style, Scotty, maybe a BKB. That's very, very standard. Maybe even a Sanjin Yasha is usually what you'll grab.
How about drums on Terrorblade?
It's something you can get. It's an early game advantage, gives you a little bit more mana. The hero actually does use a lot of mana over the scope of the game, but you can kind of counteract that with just getting a bottle. I feel like it's better just to go Manta with bottle than to stop for the drums. But the movement speed can be useful.
And surely he'll upgrade that Aquila for a little bit of extra mana regen.
Likely, yeah.
So fairly quiet early game aside from that first blood. Chuan went boots first, still pretty quiet on the Sand King. Has a couple of stacks that he can work on here in the jungle to begin that quest towards the Blink Dagger, but hasn't been able to do too much yet. Just maintaining lane control for Burning, and he is just in free farm heaven here. Bone 7's had to retreat to the jungle, and he's actually doing okay for himself also. Batrider level 4 and making a lot of progress towards a Blink.
We're probably going to see Chuan just stomp the next 7 minutes or so because he just had level 3. He's got this triple stack on the large camp, and as well Faith, since he's been spending a lot of time mid, look at the stack over on the other large camp. I don't know if he'll take it over Shadow Fiend. In a lot of cases, you'll let that go to the mid hero, but I feel like if Chuan gets an insanely fast Blink Dagger, which this would produce, it could do a lot in the early game. So I think we'll have to see who it goes to. It's either going to go to Ferrari or the Sand King.
Yeah. Only time will tell. IG looking to be a little more aggressive here. Ferrari actually with double runes right now. A haste as well as a double damage. This is scary at 6 minutes in the hands of a Shadow Fiend who's already level 7. Haste rune gets popped, rotates in, finds Envy, starts lobbing in the auto attacks. Luo and Faith come around the other side. Raise on 2. It's an easy set of kills for IG. 2-0.
What do you do against DDSF with a haste? Like
you cry.
They
That's
were
about
like,
all you can do there.
We have to hide, and they did tango a tree, but it didn't quite give them the juking path that they needed, and I don't even think it was going to matter. Like getting behind that tower, how do you succeed past that? I mean, on the bright side, they ganked heroes instead of killing Bone 7's camps, because he very much was that threat to losing those, but he's getting spotted now by the Observer Ward, and they might very likely shift over here and stop him. We'll see.
Faith will at least try and leech a little bit of XP, maybe snipe a few last hits. There's your Earth Spike to get some of that gold and take it out of the hands of Bone 7. Looks like he'll still get most of it at least.
He stole very little, other than the experience, which is significant, but if Bone 7 waits 20 seconds, he'll grab the medium camps as well, and then he'll be in a decent spot.
Yeah. But now the scales have been tipped a little bit. Burning starting to pull ahead of that of Eternal Envy, of course. That death slowing him down. Burning still just completely uncontested on the Juggernaut. Now Aquila to go with his phase boots. He's in free farm heaven. I'm sure that Mask of Madness will be right around the corner. Faith getting decent XP also. Level 5 on Lion already. Finger of Death.
That's from those neutrals, definitely. He got at least half a level from that, I'm sure. Tranquil Boots finished. He's in a great place. Like, if you're at level 5 at 8 minutes on a support, you're pretty happy, especially with all the movement he's done and all the stacking he's done. He sacrificed a lot in the early game, and he's been able to clean up with those 2 assists and those stack steals. So it looks like the jungle camp did go away, and I assume that was Chuan taking that because Shadow Fiend was busy top. He's level 6 now, 3 in Sandstorm, 3 in Burrow. He's got 1,700 gold, and with this kill of this double stack large camp and the other double stack large camp, I think this guy's going to have a Blink Dagger, and then we're going to see a gank somewhere immediately afterwards. Yeah,
Bone 7 will probably win the race for the Blink Dagger, but they'll come out at pretty comparable timings. See if Bone 7 can perhaps find a good lasso initiation. He gets level 6 off this set of neutrals, so now lasso is available. Luo up top, getting harassed by Eternal Envy. Will waveform back. That Soul Ring on the way, but still not quite there. Also closing in on level 7. So this is right around the time when your off-lane Morphling will start moving around and look to set up kills in other lanes with that adaptive strike.
And an interesting skill build on Morphling. He actually grabs 2 levels in his passive. I've always felt like if you're playing the stunning build, you want to max your stun as early as possible, and you also want to get waveform to have some kind of damage, because when you morph so heavily into strength, you have very little damage. But if you get a second level of morph here, it doubles the speed at which you can morph, which is a pretty cost-effective point in a lot of ways. So I've never looked at that ability, that scaling before, and it's actually decent here.
Yeah.
So cool, valid reasons for him doing that.
Curious when he'll grab that ultimate sooner rather than later. Maybe just gets it at level 8.
Much later. I mean, you can maybe take a Jug illusion, that would be good, but there's not a whole lot of illusions that are strong in this game to steal from somebody.
Yeah, some of it is just the scouting potential, though.
Yeah. They look for the Bat Rider. Hopefully it's an easy kill there. They do grab a level from one creep dying, but that's going to guarantee the blink on Bone 7. If they got there a little bit earlier, that could have been a Bone 7 kill, could have delayed his Blink Dagger.
So many Blink Daggers coming out here, Purge.
Basically.
1 on the Radiant, 2 on the Dire. Fata will secure his. He rushes a Blink instead of Arcane Boots.
Like Synderen pointed out, their early game is really weak, so if the Bat would have died there and delayed his Blink, it would have been completely up to the Magnus to work out. But luckily, they both have Blinks now, and they can move around the map trying to get kills. And they need to do this, because if they don't get some kills soon, the game is going to go out of control. Like, if they don't counter the Sand King initiation that's likely to come, like, the game is just really tough. Phoenix isn't even 6 yet here. He's just trying to sap experience.
Yeah.
His first fight's big.
Line's still not quite level 6, but with the Tranquil Boots, as you mentioned, he's still feeling pretty good. Shadow Fiend goes mech first, and we'll find it completed at the 10-minute mark. Not the Yule Scepter, but a sign that IG can get more aggressive here, and I think they'll do this 4+1 that they love so much. More space for Burning and try and take fights on other sides of the map. Speaking of Burning, he gets that Tier 1 tower kill in the bottom lane, and the smoke from IG will be revealed as Big Daddy throws out a Fire Spirit. First gank attempt with this Blink Dagger on the Sand King will be thwarted.
That's really important, super important. They didn't even have to fight for it, so no chance of them losing that. AI Blast is going to be up soon. They attempted for a mid, but they missed it. Almost a grab on Faith, but he hexes. Firefly to the high ground.
Great reaction from Faith there.
So both teams' initiation didn't really work out, but if we look at the gold graph, it's a huge gold advantage for the Radiant.
A lot of this is really coming from Burning. He's been completely uncontested, gets a free tower, and Envy's now moved into the jungle, still not really at that point where he can really farm super quickly. Burning perhaps looking to have a go down bottom with that Omni Slash, but Big Daddy will Icarus dive away.
Yeah, Big Daddy has to be really careful here because he doesn't even have 6 yet. If he gets on me, normally he can become invulnerable to that. He's even missing mana, so
we'll see the first rotation from Burning now as he just heads to the top lane. Mask of Madness online. He's ready to start pushing towers and find kills if possible. Misery in a good spot here, hiding in the tree line. Will they find him? Burning. Yep, they see him. Faith hits him with a stun, adaptive to follow up. It's an easy pick off, and I guess that position not so good after all.
Yeah, it's a good spot for hiding, but unfortunately it gives slight vision in this line here, so I'm sure that Burning spotted him, and then the rest of the heroes noticed that he was there, so that was
now
a pretty easy kill.
Now this will be a free tower kill, probably the second one for Burning.
Yeah, that's so dangerous
He
as
misses
well.
it, actually, but
Dyer's top
But
tower.
still,
tower
it's
down.
less space for them to farm.
oh,
Basically, a stun on
smoke mid
Phoenix.
broken by Luo. Connects with a stun onto Big Daddy. He'll wave for
Oh, they
away.
grabbed SF.
But caught with the lasso is the follow-up damage there. Icarus dive across. There is a supernova available. Big Daddy will use it. Mech comes out from Ferrari. Looks like he'll be able to survive. The backside of the fight, Chuan coming in. Ice Blast flying through. Faith, he does have a finger available, but holding it for now. Now Chuan in a bit of trouble. Burning, joining the party. Omni Slash finds the first kill. Bat Rider for Sand King, but Chuan, he'll buy back straight away. Ancient Apparition now in the grave. Big Daddy, no Icarus dive. He's feeling the breath, the burning sword, and it doesn't feel good. That'll be the end of him. Now Fata and Envy, the only two left alive. They'll hug their Tier 1 tower. They'll live, but a disastrous fight for Cloud9. Even with the buyback from Chuan, still a gold gain for IG.
Dyer's
7-2 at the
top
moment.
tower is under attack.
He's trying to hold the tower back, but it's pretty scary, especially with Morphling still alive here. He's stunning for 4.25 seconds.
Whoa.
RP comes to skewer it back.
On two, behind the tower, but Luo hits him with a stun, burning, just Blade Furies away. Luo will be okay for
Oh
now.
my
They'll try to
God.
turn this onto Fata. He's getting low, but they can't quite finish him off. Ice Blast comes in, connects only on Chuan. They
Oh.
find him in the tree line. He's isolated, hit by the shockwave. Firefly enough to finish him off as Bone 7 gets credit for that one. C9 get a small consolation for the hyper-aggression of IG there. Nice RP from Fata.
Yeah, that was good. It delayed the fight a little bit there. They didn't get a kill out of it, but the important part was that little dire creep that blocked Chuan, and he couldn't get out. The Ice Blast hit him. They saw he was there, and from there, Bat Rider jumping on top of him. Easy kill. A very good consolation kill that C9 has been looking for. And they defend the tower, cost them an RP and their other ultimates, but considering them being behind, I think that was all right.
Yeah, and in this game, Bone 7 had a decent initiation onto the Shadow Fiend, but unfortunately the follow-up damage just wasn't there. They don't have that huge burst, a finger or something like that to bring down the lasso target easily. They had the Supernova follow-up, but the mech was just enough to keep Ferrari safe, as they will continue to pressure these Tier 1s. Tier 1 in the mid for Cloud9 will fall. Looks like they won't be able to move in time to make a defense.
Dyer's middle tower is under
So
attack.
that tower will likely fall. Oh, maybe not. Oh, that's a Shadow Blade on Jug. Jeez, he's so farmed.
To go with his Mask of Madness. Item you don't see too often, but when you're this far ahead, can really bode well. Fata
Good
gets
Ice
hexed as he heads to the top lane, and he will get locked down on the other side of it. Bat Rider falls. It's a 2-0. And two separate fights. Now Burning gets another tower kill. IG getting so much momentum here, Purge. Look at this gold graph. Already a 5K net worth and XP deficit in favor of Invictus Gaming.
They have so much good chase. Like, Bat Rider needs a Force Staff to be survivable here, but
Radiant's top tower
there's just
is
too
under
much damage
attack.
coming out. He can't get away. If he gets stunned, he stops pulling somebody. And Morphling isn't even the hero that you want to go on because his HP is so high because he's morphed so much over there. And it gets even worse if he continues to press the Morph Strength button. He can still get an extra 20 strength out of it. So a fast Roshan will be finished. Very unlikely. We will see an AI Splash. That'll help if it hits Ferrari. It doesn't, though.
Tower is under attack.
And that's dead Roshan and another big advantage. I feel like Misery really hasn't been able to do as much on this hero. I mean, it did block IG from picking their heroes, but because their heroes were so delayed in terms of roaming viability, it's like he's not able to accomplish a whole lot. They don't have that many nukes either. AI Splash, you want to combo with nukes in most cases, but their team is weak on nukes and weak on early disables.
Yeah,
They'll
so
go well into late game, but it's tough.
Checking in on Eternal Envy, he's been rather quiet this game. Now has the Empower buff to help farm a little bit more. Picked up the Yasha to go with the Power Treads, but still taking a little while to come online. And IG are just capitalizing so much on Terrorblide's relatively weak early stage here. Mid lane, Burrow Strike right onto Fata. That's a Requiem of Souls for a double kill onto Big Daddy and Magnus. Oh boy, it just keeps getting worse for Cloud9 here. Burning, finds Misery. Shadow Blade with an Omni Slash to follow up. Make it 3.
That's just demoralizing right there. 3 dead heroes are having a lot of trouble finding kills on the map, and man, kills like that just make it scarier and scarier. Especially, man, Ferrari on SF is so terrifying. It's because this guy doesn't die very often, and now he's got offensive with a Blink Dagger as well. So really good chance that he can cooperate in team fights, score kills for his team, and just push their advantage even farther. It's just looking really bad for C9.
Yeah,
I think this is looking bad, more worse than the previous game versus IG did.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this lead this early on, it's reached 5 figures, Purge. 10,000 net worth, 12,000 experience, and only 16 minutes of gameplay. It's not quite insurmountable, but fairly close. Aegis of the Immortal on Shadow Fiend will be lasting for a pretty long time here, so IG can continue to keep up this aggression and deny Cloud9 places to farm. We'll see IG start to invade the jungle and really limiting where Eternal Envy can find time to kill creeps.
Spot some illusions here. Illusions versus illusions. They know one of these is real.
But which one?
C9 does have a lot of smokes ready to use. They just have to find the opportunities. Got to be careful with this observer ward, though. Put a sentry down, but AoE, that may... I don't see any pings. I don't think they
think that was out of range. It was just in the darkness there.
Midas on Morphling. He could actually just transition into a carry at some point, too, with this.
And now Faith gets his Blink Dagger on the Lion. 17 minutes, pretty solid timing there. Plenty of farm to go around for IG. Even more initiation power now with Blink Hex. It's a trio of Blink Daggers, and the Shadow Blade on Burning, kind of half of a Blink Dagger in that sense.
All right, so C9 was trying to find somebody, but they didn't catch anybody there. Bit unfortunate for them. They really need kills. Any kill they get at this point gives them a huge gold advantage, especially if they catch the heroes that have the higher net worth on IG, especially Juggernaut or Shadow Fiend. Any of those guys would give them a huge boost in gold. But unfortunately, couldn't find anything.
Big Daddy throws some Fire Spirits out onto Ferrari to try and delay this push in the mid lane, but the creep wave already cleared up. They've got a siege creep with them. IG will just continue to put the pressure on. They've got Faith in the bottom lane, but he'll join the party mid, and this will turn into a 5-hero push.
And Luo opting for pretty much a max strength build. He's not even going for the efficient, I want some agility, some strength. He just wants as much HP as possible here.
Ice Blast flying through, will connect on 2. Luo and 430. Glyph comes out to try and defend the tier 2. Some illusions coming in, but this baby's going down. In the bottom lane, Bone 7 is cutting the lane. They might try to trade their tier 2 mid for a tier 1 bottom, but it could very quickly turn into 2 tier 2s for just this tier 1 in the bottom lane, which I think, needless to say, is far from ideal.
Yeah, it's not a trade that you want to make at all. Cloud is trying to pick up some farm as well to catch up, but they don't feel comfortable going under tower because you could have a TP with a blink strike from Sand King, and then you're caught, and then you have to take a bad fight.
So what's the play for IG? Do they come back to defend?
They could grab a kill, but there's nobody around, so I guess they probably should just defend. You know what? I think what they should do is follow this blue line on the map, walk around that path, and maybe set up a kill. I think that sounds like a good idea.
Sounds like a pretty good plan, Purge. Only 1 outer tower remaining for Cloud9 already. Only 19 minutes into this game. They've killed but a single tier 1 tower themselves. Fata now goes Power Treads on his Magnus after the Blink Dagger, opting to skip the Arcane Boots. Oh, Envy farming in the danger zone right now. Gets caught by Faith. The Blink Dagger's there. Stun, follow up from Chuan. Do they have the damage? They do. It's a Finger of Death and a dead Eternal Envy.
We almost saw Magnus get killed as well, but opted for the illusion instead, and Burning doesn't get the kill there, but grabbing Eternal Envy, he's 1 and 2 right now. He's got decent last hits, but his net worth is okay, considering the scope of the game.
Considering how this game is going, it's pretty solid, but there are still a lot of issues here for Cloud9, and they are not slowing down this IG momentum whatsoever. Aegis just about to expire, but I feel like 430 has gotten a lot of use out of it.
They're going to find Fata, I think. Will we see the Hex Barrel Strike first? Here
Oh,
comes
the Requiem. That's a one-hit KO for the most part. Fata heads straight to the grave.
That's one of the really cool things about the draft that IG did here is that any stun and Ferrari can get his ultimate off because they're all very long duration. You've got Hex 2.5 seconds, Earth Spike 2.5. The Burrow Strike is very similar, 2.17 seconds. So he just has faith in his teammates. He sees the heroes like they're going to land a stun. He blinks and ultimates right away. He doesn't have to get a Yules. He can just go blink alone and then transition straight to damage items if he so wishes. I think this is actually a good game to just skip Yules entirely. So
very aggressive wards come down. Blink forward from Bone 7. They want Burning. They'll catch him in the lasso. They might be able to bring him down here. Plenty of damage, but the Omni Slash goes off. The RNG is there to finish off the Bat Rider before he falls. Buys some time for his teammates to join the party as well. Big Daddy without the Supernova will secure a kill on the Lion, but now Chuan with an Epicenter focuses Eternal Envy. He dies. A 2-for-2 trade. Not too bad for Cloud9 if they can get away without losing any more. And they'll find a pretty big net worth gain out of that. Compliments of the rubber band.
The threat of the Thunder was there, but unfortunately for him, the stun came through with the Epicenter and just a bit too much damage for I could kite him as well. So things are tough here. He has finally grabbed a level of Reflection. It's a decent skill against Jug because it does, the illusion can crit back on him. So in the late game, it might be worth getting some points into here, but man, it's a tough game. He's got to get a Scotty next, I think. He's got to get HP. He's got to get some agility items. But yeah, it's looking scary, man.
The 1 outer tower remaining for Cloud9. G2A soon to be turned to rubble. They don't have a glyph. Ice Blast will connect on 2. Icarus Dive and Fire Spirits, but the adaptive is there onto Big Daddy. Luo just going to walk forward and bully him out a little bit.
He really doesn't care that much.
Yeah, looks like they will actually not commit to the tower. Okay.
Dire's bottom tower
Morphling
is
can
under
kind of do whatever he
attack.
wants here, whenever his ultimate's up at least.
Full Manta style coming out for 430. And a Blink Dagger for Luo.
Yeah, very standard on the Morphling build because if you're full strength, it pushes people very far. So a lot of the times you stun somebody, it pushes them closer to their team. So it's a little better to blink behind them, push them towards your team, and then waveform through him. So it's pretty much a safe initiation. Your damage is still irrelevant. I mean, he hits for 33 right now because he's so strength morphed. But the important part is that with good teammates, if you're setting up stuns for 4.25 seconds, it should create a lot of space and have a lot of viability while still being hard to kill. So
Cloud9 will get some vision control back, clear out the plateau in their jungle with that Sentry Ward. Nicely done, opens up some space in their jungle, just trying to find somewhere for Envy to farm. Looks like we'll have a short pause here.
Probably a tech issue going on with C9.
I think most likely. Still a huge lead for IG, hovering around 13,000 net worth, 15,000 XP.
Looks like he had an issue with his headset here, and he is ready to go.
Okay.
Hopping back into the game. Hopefully with that small 10-second break, they have the same energy that IG got from the restart in the previous series. Fingers crossed. They're going to need it because they're really far behind. Wow, look at Ancient Apparition. Bought a gem.
Oh.
It's a fair buy. I mean, they're so far behind, they need to get map vision. If they get map control, they can land the RP, they can get the Bat Rider lasso. That might have been spotted.
Oh, it's really close. I think it might have been clear. We don't see pings coming out from IG.
I don't even think they saw the observer ward up there because Misery ran on the right side of the lane. So
Chuan on the high ground, breaks the smoke, burrow strike down to the other side. Good positioning there, and he sees the ward come down.
Can they grab Morphling is the question. That's such a hard kill. They don't have the burst damage. They would have to RP for it, and that's just not worth it this early on.
There is a Force Staff up on the Bat Rider, though, so Bone 7 can now start to isolate whoever he grabs in the lasso. A much-needed bout of item progression. Chuan has also picked up a gem of his own, so one on each side. And the battle for map vision continues.
Except Lion has a Hex, an Earth Spike, and a Blink Dagger. AA is much more squishy here. I mean, if they lose this gem, it's, I feel, the beginning of the end because there's no way they can regain map control unless they buy sentries, but that's in a losing game, that's oftentimes not very worth it.
Yeah. IG walk into the Roche pit, and they see that he's respawned, but instead they just head straight to the lane. They don't want to take any undue risk here. Instead, they'd rather clear out this tower and make things a lot more difficult for Cloud9 in terms of contesting. Burning, caught by the lasso, pulled deep into enemy territory, but the follow-up is there. Supernova comes out as the Requiem gets channeled. Bat Rider goes down first. Now Envy stunned up, fingered, and sent to the grave. It's a 2-for-0 straight away. The Supernova goes off, but the damage is just not there. Big Daddy tries to Icarus dive away, but Chuan follows up with a stun. It's a 1-for-3. Lion got picked off in the fray. Dastardly fight for Cloud9 as they lose their last outer tower.
Luo played that fight so well. As soon as the thing started, he blinked to the back line, and he made sure the Magnus could not blink and counter-initiate. If there would have been a RP, that could have been significantly different, but he just stopped that from happening. Jumps in, throws the stun, starts attacking Magnus. That 30 damage completely
Some
paid
buybacks
off.
are available here, Purge. Glyph has already come out. Are they going to be forced to burn them? You can't sacrifice barracks this early on. Phoenix will use his. Envy hanging on to his for now. Tier 3 tower does go down. Now IG just trying to make their retreat. Bone 7 caught by an adaptive. Do they have the follow-up damage? No.
Took a hit from 30.
Still took the Tier 3 tower, though. Great push from IG. And they also forced out a buyback on the Phoenix without conceding a death, so that is just some lost gold for the bottom line of Big Daddy No Tail.
It's so tough to play this with the Morphling being there. He's like unkillable in a lot of ways. He can stun one of your heroes for 4.25 seconds. C9 needs a good team fight, and they have the heroes for it, but if he keeps disrupting team fights like that, it just looks so hard. They didn't lose their gem at least. Misery was able to stay alive in that fight, but did Eternal Evany go down? He's 1-4-3 now.
He died and did not use his buyback. Good. Faith has just been focusing him so hard. It seems like every fight the Lion is looking for the stuns on the Terrorblade, and once he's in the threshold, that Finger of Death, I think it's been used on Envy almost every fight.
It should be. It's so good against him. He's only got 1,000 HP here on Agility Treads.
Oh, Envy, he is in the danger zone right now. Can they find him? Luo walking by. Chuan opens up with the stun. Adaptive is there. Envy locked in place. He'll die once more. That makes him 1-5. Really a rough game for this Terrorblade.
No kidding. I mean, what do you do at this point? Juggernaut has 60% more net worth than you, but more importantly, he just wrecks you in a 1v1. I feel like even with Terrorblade, if he was able to Metamorphosis and Manta Split and have 2 Conjure images up, I think Jug would still kill him in most cases. It's just so much physical damage. Plus he has a crit. Jug's damage in comparison is just massive.
And now Jug has a Skull Basher, probably looking towards that Abyssal Blade before too long. More control to just lock down that Terra Blade, prevent him from sundering or anything else. Roche goes down once more. That's an Aegis of the Immortal for 430 again. And he's got about 3,000 gold pulled up to look towards his next item, quite possibly a Scotty.
So last Observer Ward is going to fall, at least by the bot half. C9's looking to turtle. They're grabbing BKBs on their core heroes, but they're a bit too far away from them. Even Magnus going for a Yules. I think it's a good option. You can stop things like Epicenter, SF ulti without needing a Blink Dagger. And they're preparing to go high ground. They want to take a Rex.
They know there isn't a glyph available here, so this is a good time for IG to push with the Aegis advantage, plus knowing that the Phoenix buyback is on cooldown.
They've got their ultimates at least, so they can get something out of this.
Ferrari walks up to the high ground, Illusion Rune in the bottle. We'll focus the ranged barracks for now, looking for the sure damage. IG playing this very cautiously, putting their Aegis carrier in the front lines. They don't want to overcommit here. Trying to bait with Ferrari and see if they'll waste one of their prized ultimates on him. I think IG happy to not fight here if it means they can secure uncontested barracks, and they will. Now do they back out or go mid? Seems to be the latter here, Purge. They want to end this game.
They're going to keep going, definitely. There's no point to back off. Nothing got used, and they have a huge gold advantage. I don't think they're not like, oh, we got a small advantage. Let's keep pushing this. They have a huge advantage.
25K net worth and experience to be exact.
They're going to try to take the game here. If the second Rax falls, that's at the very least a long, painful death for C9, so they have to fight here. And it's all going to be down to RP. They don't have the trees to hide them this time, though. And everybody's still
trying
spread
to
out.
split. Lasso onto Luo. Is the follow-up damage there? He's the tankiest target. They can't quite bring him down. Waveform away. He'll survive for now on the other side of the fight. Faith brings down the Phoenix. They kill the Morphling. He'll buy back. They've already taken the Tier 3 tower, though. Still not too bad for IG. They know Phoenix can't buy back here, and he did have the Supernova.
Did he get chain stunned? Oh, Finger of Death. Okay.
He did. He got fingered, yeah. So now the barracks are exposed. Still no glyph available. Morphling had that Tier 1 tower to TP to, so he's already back in this fight. NV buys a BKB. They need to make a stand here. Melee Barracks taking a lot of damage. Fata still has the RP, but IG just split up so well. Fata stunned as soon as he blinks in. Gets follow-up stun, bursted from full to zero before he can cast a single spell. Now Envy with the BKB on will get off a Sunder, but does it matter? I say nay. He's stuck in the well, and this could be the end for Cloud9 G2A here. Buyback comes out from Fata, but they blow up Bone 7, and it's GG. IG head to the finals to face off against VG Gaming.
What a comeback there. They were on the verge of defeat in Game 2, but they eked out the advantage, took Game 2, and just stomped Game 3. I really felt like their drafting there just focused on all the important heroes. First, they banned on Fata's ideal heroes with both the Zeus and the Beastmaster, forced him into picking a Magnus because he was worried about turning in the last game with a hero that he's not as comfortable with. And then they also got rid of all of the really good heroes that Eternal Envy may have wanted to play, forced him into a Terrorblade, and a couple early rotations on that hero is like, what do you do against it? He wasn't able to kill the Morphling, he couldn't get hero advantage, all he could do is hit creeps and all, and he did that, but too many stuns, too many good teamfight abilities, and IG knocks them out. Third place for C9.
Yeah, not a bad finish for Cloud9, but certainly not what they were hoping for. I can't help but feel like the Terrorblade was just not the pick that game. We talked about it in the draft, our panel talked about it. Just so much control, so much burst damage, and it seemed like the offlane Morphling was really quite the pick this game. 0-1-9, but he set up a lot of kills.
And it wasn't just that. I feel like they also didn't really want to do AA. I think they maybe picked too many heroes that they wanted to prevent IG from having rather than just playing heroes they were good at. I feel like Misery always does a lot better on heroes like Lion. He plays amazing on those.
Right.
They still got Phoenix, but that was pretty much the only hero in the draft that they really play often is Phoenix and Batrider. Those are the two heroes they got. Everything else was like second or third tier picks that they normally grab. I feel like they had too many heroes that were out of their comfort zones. Yeah,
I also really liked the slight variation from Burning there. He went for that Shadow Blade very early on, an item you don't see on Jug too often, but when you're